We've barely started the cycle. So I know we all say it's so early, nothing's really happened yet. It hasn't. We had phase one of the banana zone, which was the breakout of that consolidation range. This is the consolidation phase two. Then we'll get into the much more important banana zone phase two. It is all coming.
The question of whether or not cryptocurrency will ever recover is discussed by Raoul Pal, who also breaks down market cycles, future trends, and important opportunities. Through an in-depth examination of the historical patterns of boom and bust in the cryptocurrency market, he examines how previous market cycles have resulted in enormous recoveries and even more significant bull runs. Raoul emphasizes that investors can better position themselves for long-term growth by gaining an understanding of these cycles, which can help them identify key trends such as institutional adoption, technological innovation, and regulatory clarity as the drivers of the next wave. Will there be a rise in cryptocurrency once more? Have a look and find out.
Bitcoin priced in those financial conditions, which were leading by 3 months. Bitcoin's already priced it all in. So it's the worst news is in. My guess, probably up only. The chart you all care about that we came up with and every fucker in the world has copied, Global M2, 10-week lead versus Bitcoin. It's worked perfectly. I didn't expect it to be work as perfectly, but it is. But basically, we're turning the corner and we should start to see higher prices. And the higher prices will come quick, and the higher prices should take us all the way back to the highs pretty soon. Not soon, like in a week or two, but soon, like in a couple of months. So I think what you've all had to go through is a boring sideways consolidation pattern with a slight down bias. Your alts have been nuked, but nothing out of the ordinary. We saw this in 2017. We've seen it now, and we are very, very close to the turnaround. So patience is all I keep asking for. Stop being so dramatic. It's funny. It's actually boring. It's like you do not get 150% returns a year from an asset without drawdowns. You will have to get used to this. You have to stop worrying at this point in the cycle. We peaked in the cycle earlier in 2021, and we peaked because the business cycle had peaked. This time, the ISM is still low. And so we've barely started the cycle. So I know we all say it's so early, nothing's really happened yet. It hasn't. We had phase one of the banana zone, which was the breakout of that consolidation range. This is the consolidation phase two. Then we'll get into the much more important banana zone phase two. It is all coming. The 2017 cycle repeating. That's the dollar this time around, last time around. This time around, the dollar's even weaker, which is, I mean, it will bounce at some point. It will bounce for a month or two, and it will continue lower. But it's showing how fast financial conditions are weakening, even versus them. When we look at Global M2 last time around versus Global M2 today, it's the same bloody chart. I mean, it's stunning. It's stunning. And I think Global M2 is going to actually outperform this time around, which should mean crypto has a good bid. Doesn't mean crypto will do as well as last time because it was earlier phase. There was less participants, early phase in adoption, higher performance, but I expect it to be good. Global M2 breaking out these beautiful wedge patterns that happen every time you're in crypto spring and summer, and then crypto fall starts, you start breaking out, and then as it breaks out, the markets break out. We had that false thing in COVID, but the breakout in M2 higher, breakout in M2 higher, breakout in M2 higher. Get the picture? Higher. What I have been saying for a long time now is the strength of the dollar. This is the dollar inverted in pink. The strength of the dollar after Trump got elected leads by 2 months the economy and financial conditions. As Trump got as Trump was clearly going to start winning, the dollar started rallying. Oh my God, tariffs. Oh my God, whatever it was. And they started rallying the dollar, which is what happened in 2017. And what happens is it slows down global growth. The dollar is the most important input to all of global growth. And so the US Economic Surprises Index, the SESI, has been falling in line with this. Twitter, meanwhile, loses its collective shit and says, we're going into recession. It's terrible. Scott Bessent told us to. A, Scott was a Global Macro Investor subscriber for a long time. And B, it's not a fucking recession. It is a weak patch in data driven by financial conditions that tightened last quarter. If you look at it going forwards, on a forwards basis, it's been easing fast. So we will see the economy weak this quarter, and then it will start to strengthen from a weaker base. This is not a recession. Don't be ridiculous. This is what happened last time Trump got elected in 2017. Exactly the same reaction by financial markets and exactly the same outcome. Economic data weakened, the DXY had strengthened, then it began to weaken, and economic data followed it, and we got a big boom. And we will see very similar. The dollar drives things like the ISM survey, or this is the services PMI. Services PMI was weak. Everyone's like, we're going into recession. The services PMI is weak. We're all fucked. Really, all it's doing is following the dollar. And the dollar is leading and says it will bounce. So it will bounce.
The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has just released a game-changing update for miners of Bitcoin and Litecoin, bringing much-needed clarity to the industry. According to the official statement made by the agency, proof-of-work mining operations do not fall under the regulations that govern securities. This alleviates concerns that miners might be subject to legal challenges. An upsurge of excitement spread throughout the mining community as a result of this announcement, which served to bolster the credibility of their occupation. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, asserts that the mining of digital assets on public, decentralized networks does not involve the exchange of securities. All that miners do is contribute their computing power to the network in order to keep it secure. They are not taking part in any kind of investment scheme. A further clarification was provided by the SEC, stating that mining pools are not considered to be activities related to securities because participants are pooling resources rather than trading securities. This decision eliminates uncertainty, which may pave the way for increased institutional investment and a more transparent approach to the regulation of cryptocurrency mining in the United States.
And then crypto. Here's Bitcoin, 3 month on 3 month, just reflects these financial conditions and the economic surprises. So the economy is weaker, financial conditions were strong in the past, and Bitcoin has already priced in the entire thing. So the damage has been done. Okay, what's the good news in all of this? The good news is the financial conditions index, which is the dollar, rates, and oil, is rebounding like crazy. Strong conditions lay ahead. The economic surprises index is not finished going down yet. It will go down a bit further. Maybe the Fed will be able to cut in April or March. No, it's March now. April or May, whatever it is. Maybe they'll be able to sneak in a couple of cuts. If we see the Trueflation index, inflation has been falling off a cliff. I think the Fed get cover to cut, which is what they want because they need to roll the debt. The Everything Code, if you haven't seen it, A, ask the Raoul bot about it. B, watch the videos on it. They need to get rates down so they can roll the debt at roughly around trend rate of GDP growth. So they need to get interest rates down to 3% or lower. Guess what? The Fed today, where do they think interest rates will be? 3%. Where do they think economic growth will be? Around 3%. I've been saying this forever. This is the entire game. That's what they're trying to do. Economic surprises should be weaker. Then we're going to rebound on the back end. The next part of the year is going to be very strong. 2017, those of you remember, was an amazing year. And I think we'll see something very similar. I don't know if you can see that. It's a banana reclining on the cue ball. It's reclining on the cue ball. It's kind of cute. Um, so people are like, has the banana zone been cancelled? Is Raoul a moron? Yes, I am an utter moron, and I will take that all day. However, the banana zone is a multi-phase affair and a multi-month and over a year affair. And those of you who expect number go up all the time are only remembering what the banana zone is at certain periods of time. Your number's not going up because you own a bunch of shit alts and you're like complaining. Okay, I get it. Let's go through this again for you morons out there. The banana zone starts. This is the banana zone in the box. We then have a corrective period. Look at this. Corrective period, corrective period, corrective period, corrective period. Does this look any different than this one? No. And then what happens? Banana zone phase 2. Banana zone phase 2. Banana zone phase 2. Then we have another corrective zone. And you're all going to be throwing your toys out the pram. It's all over. It's just like 2021 again. Blah, 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 blah. And guess what? We will correct and it will go higher again. That's how the banana zone works. And you guys have to learn patience. I know I say this all the time. Tesla. I love all of the drama. When Elon was considered a environmentalist and anti-oil, the right-wing people would deface Teslas. I have 2 Teslas. I have a Model X Plaid with the gull-wing doors. Fucking amazing car. I've had some amazing cars in my life. That is one of the best cars I've ever owned. Maybe even the best car I've ever owned. And I've had Ferrari 355 GTSs, 911 Carrera turbo cabriolets, turbo S cabriolets. I've had them all. That Tesla Model X Plaid is amazing. I love the minimalism and stuff. Anyway, so the right wing people would deface the cars. And then what happened is Elon then did the whole government thing and the whole, that. And then suddenly now the left wing are defacing the cars. Are you guys fucking morons? It's a car. He's an entrepreneur. You might not like Elon, but he's pretty good at doing stuff. And it's so ridiculous that both the left and the right have always hated him at some point. And people are like, well, Tesla stock. I mean, we saw the Tim Waltz thing today. It's embarrassing. Well, Elon's stock's getting hit because people don't like Elon. They're shunning his cars, blah, 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 narrative, narrative, narrative. Reality, global M2. Oh, guess what? It's driven by liquidity. Tesla, one of the best performing stocks in the world over the last few years, decades, has been driven by liquidity. But it's also driven by a number of other factors. But liquidity's bottomed, so Tesla's probably bottoming. Oh, and also Tesla's driven by the business cycle. Who'd have thought that you sell less cars when the business cycle is weak, or when the business cycle gets stronger, you sell more cars? Tesla year on year is driven by the business cycle. I mean, God, people, the over analysis of stuff. And guess what? Retail sales, new car dealers, ISM, correlated. So as ISM picks up, people sell more cars. As the ISM picks up, the business cycle is stronger. People have more earnings, they buy more cars. Right now, we're not in the car buying cycle. But going forwards, our leading indicator says that the ISM is going up. And therefore, if the ISM is going up and we go back here, car sales are going to be growing at like 20% a year. But we're not there yet. Car sales are currently growing at 0% a year or just above, and they'll be going at about 20% a year. So what you've got is a discounted pricing mechanism based on the liquidity that gives you a once in a business cycle opportunity to accumulate Tesla if you like that. Tesla, like all of these tech stocks, is in a log regression channel. It is one standard deviation oversold. It is likely to get to one standard deviation overbought and maybe 2 standard deviations overbought if the market's feeling frothy. Where does that get to? I don't know. but definitely north of 1,000. Feels like a 5x to me. That's not financial advice.
Donald Trump has reaffirmed his commitment to establishing the United States of America as the unrivaled Bitcoin superpower and the world's foremost innovator in the cryptocurrency industry. During his speech at the Blockworks Digital Asset Conference, the former president addressed a packed room of industry leaders and made a commitment to reverse restrictive policies and fully embrace digital assets. When compared to previous administrations, his supportive stance was welcomed by many members of the cryptocurrency community, which resulted in his speech being met with enthusiasm. Trump has voiced his specific disapproval of President Biden's regulatory approach, and he has pledged to put an end to what he refers to as a regulatory war on cryptocurrency. This includes the dismantling of Operation Chokepoint 2.0, which reduces the amount of banking access available to cryptocurrency companies. Since taking office again, President Trump has signed executive orders that strengthen the United States' position in the cryptocurrency market. These orders include the establishment of a United States Bitcoin Reserve, which ensures that the government will hold digital assets for an extended period of time. The fact that this is the first time that a sitting president has ever directly addressed a crypto conference makes this a momentous occasion. The future of the cryptocurrency industry could be influenced by his promise to make the United States a dominant force in the world of cryptocurrencies, which would encourage regulatory clarity and institutional adoption.